Hey, what's up, bros and girls? It's the HiFi Brothers.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about the KLH Windsor 10-inch subwoofer.
Let's get to it. Hey, welcome to the episode today, everybody. As we said in the intro, we're going to talk about the KLH Windsor 10. So, Ralph, KLH was kind enough to send us the Windsor 10 to do a review, and we've had this subwoofer for about a week. And what's kind of nice about this review is I actually had the subwoofer for about 3 days, and then I gave it to you to hook up for your home theater, and you had it for about a few days now. So what we're going to do is give you guys a review in different environments, just because at my house I have just a standard 2-channel stereo setup. Ralph, on the other hand, as from previous reviews and people that have been following us from the beginning will know that Ralph has a home theater Dolby Atmos setup. KLH, I know a lot of people aren't familiar with their products. They've been kind of out of the audio game for a while, but they've recently started making a comeback, and that's why a lot of people are unaware of their brand. Since 2000, I want to say 16, even 17, have just started to come out with new products again, and there's a lot of people that are just very unfamiliar with their brand. But they've been out for a long time. I mean, before that, been around since the late 50s. I would say up until the early 2000s. So great, what we're going to do is we're just going to get right into it. First, we'll just share with you guys a brief unboxing. So right now we're showing you guys a clip, me kind of going through the box, what comes inside, instruction manual, the power cord, and then the subwoofer itself. When I took it out, the first thing that hit my mind here was it looks just like a bare bones subwoofer. There was really nothing flashy or any part of it that really stuck out to me. I would say the coolest part, or the most unique part of it is a ported sub. However, it's a rear slotted port.
Yeah, it's a rear slotted port, that's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, and in the back, and we'll show it, it's just basically a slot that's pretty much the width of the subwoofer, and it's about 2 inches high, and I would say, 10 inches wide. Yeah, the grill it's got the prongs on there, so it's not magnetic. Like some of the higher quality subs that we've done reviews with. What do you think, Ralph?
Well, my first impressions, immediately what I caught my eye was the driver. It looks really nice. It's pristine. It's made out of Kevlar polyglass, and that's the one thing that caught my eye. And also the shape of the box. Those are the features that are important to me. It's not the dynamics. It's not the how much output does it do. I'm looking at the shape of the box, how big it is, and the driver itself.
Cool. So I just wanted to share and highlight how I had this set up. So basically, when I hooked it up, I had it initially hooked up alongside two Klipsch RP160M bookshelf speakers, and yeah, immediately right off the bat, I noticed that the bass was fantastic. Like it was like I was definitely missing out not having a subwoofer in my environment. So what I also was able to do is I was able to hook up the KLH Ames Bookshelf speaker, because I also have those at home. Mm-hmm. And so I swapped those out for those Klipsch. After a few days, or after a couple days, I preferred the KLH Ames and the KLH subwoofer in my setup. Overall, it just sounded cleaner to me, especially when listening to music. There was just a better dynamic range between the lows and the highs. With that setup. Movie watching, it was fine, but it's definitely nothing compared to your home theater setup. Yeah, so let me just show you a brief demonstration of the subwoofer and with the Ames speakers. All right, Ralph. Well, that was my demonstration of the subwoofer in my environment. Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about your experience using it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, my experience now coming over to my house, bringing the subwoofer from my house with my Dolby Atmos, setup, it actually did pretty well. It did very, very well. I would not recommend to put the subwoofer all the way high because it does have a rattling sound, and the subwoofer is only 150 watt. Messing around with movies and stuff like that, and honestly, this subwoofer can handle what it can do. Not at very high volumes, like other companies do, but it does perform very well. It does blend in with the speakers pretty good. I'm not gonna sit there and say it's not a good subwoofer. It's actually a decent subwoofer. It's not like SVS, or it's not like the higher end models and stuff like that have PEQ involved, and you got all these other frequency ranges that you can mess around with. This is just your basic sub, and it does what it's supposed to do. It's a subwoofer. Okay, we're gonna do a brief demo of the subwoofer in my home theater system.
Cool. So I guess we'll just do our final thoughts. What each of us feel about the subwoofer. We'll give you guys each our pros and cons to it. For me, I would say that it's a decent subwoofer. I think it's great. I would totally, I would definitely rock it in my 2-channel setup, and along with those KLH Ames, they go so well together. Like, I would probably have that full time as my setup, because I was just impressed with how well they complement each other, like you said. The subwoofer, I would say, just like what I mentioned earlier, it's just very bare bones, right? That could be a turnoff for some people. Like, other subwoofers in its class, other companies, they definitely have nicer looking aesthetics. There's definitely a lot more functionality that you get with some of those other ones, so that could be a deciding factor for a lot of people that are debating whether this subwoofer is better than this subwoofer for the same exact price. Yeah, outside of that, it's a decent sounding sub. It does what it's supposed to do.
My final thoughts about the subwoofer, like I said right off the bat, it gives enough bass. You really have to turn the volume on to get it to where it's very comparable to like a higher end sub, but then again, you're killing the subwoofer, which you don't want to do. The pros about the sub, it gives enough good bass. It's very subtle bass. The cons I have about it is that you have to put the volume really high on it to get it to where it's like home theater, like Godzilla stomping type. And the other con that I have about it as well, it's not I wouldn't say it's not a home theater sub. It's okay for a home theater sub. I would say that it's more of a musical subwoofer. It's good for music. It gives you the punchiness. It gives you the lows that you need for music. For home theater, it's okay. It's not the best, but it does its job. For anybody that's looking for something to start out with, I would definitely start with KLH's. Give them a try. They're pretty awesome.
All right, Ralph. Well, I say that concludes our video.
Yes. So like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.
And as always,
keep it hi-fi.